Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. So today I am actually cleaning out my fridge. It's been a couple of months since I've taken all of the food out, cleaned it well, and thrown away anything that's expired. In addition to cleaning out the fridge, I'm also going to take inventory of everything that I have so I can meal plan for the week, and anything that I need to prep for snacks or meals I'm going to be doing as well. So come along with me and let's get started. I should also mention that it's Saturday night, and obviously this is a very exciting thing to do on a Saturday evening, clean out your fridge. So here's the state of it before I do anything. This is just how it is. I didn't stage any of this. So I'm sure there are some condiments in here that need to be thrown out. I know that there is some produce that can be prepped. A couple weekends ago, I did actually pull out these produce drawers and wash them in the sink. So those are probably good, but it's been a while since I've wiped out all of the shelves, and I know this drawer down here, it's been a while since I've wiped that out as well. So I did go ahead and clean off my island, because typically the first thing I do when I clean out the fridge is I have to empty everything out. So I wanted to make sure that I had a nice big space to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and take everything out that I can and sort of organize it into sections. And then if I see anything that is expired or bad right off the bat, I can just throw that away. It's open. Just shut it out. So I got everything cleaned out, and yes, these shelves need a good wipe down. You probably can't see, there's just crumbs and whatnot. I was talking about this in a previous video, and yes, there's a problem with this drain tube. Adam looked it up. Let me zoom out. And so there gets ice down here, and he read some fixes, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it or not. But at any rate, I need to put some hot rags in here just so I can melt this ice before I put the bottom drawer back in. And these shelves are really easy to take out and wash. These on this side, not so much. So I haven't decided if I'm going to take these out yet or whether I'm just going to use a hot rag and wash them out. This is all the ice I pulled out of the bottom of that drawer. I actually put the cutting board there and then scraped the ice on top of it. And then there was one piece that I threw into the sink also, but I don't know, it's just irritating that that fridge does that. And I know it's a common problem because other people told me they have it too. But anyway, apparently it's something that Samsung has never fixed. Okay, so I got everything cleaned out and wiped down. I did end up removing these shelves and washing them in the sink just because they were easy to take out. These are kind of a pain, so I just went ahead, they weren't that bad, so I just went ahead and wiped them down with a really hot rag and cleaner, and that's what I did to the rest of the fridge as well. And then after that, I used Windex. There's people shooting fireworks off. I used Windex and a paper towel just to make sure that everything was streak-free. Okay, so now that the fridge is cleaned out, I'm gonna go through all of this stuff and see what needs to be thrown out. I know that there are some things that, like for example this Chipotle's, I'm probably just gonna throw this out because there's only a tiny bit left in the bottom and I don't even remember when I opened it. I found some of these like cocktail cherries that I had gotten Adam a while back, and they're moldy now. Those were in the way back of the fridge. And then stuff like this, like we got this at, or I got this at Trader Joe's to try this corn salsa, and we just don't really care for it. So stuff like that I'm probably just gonna throw out. Some of these jars I'll recycle or you know, keep and wash out because I like to reuse jars. And oh, this is my sourdough starter, which I'm pretty sure is bad now, and so I'm gonna dispose of that. So surely I'm not the only one who is a compulsive condiment packet saver, but honestly I did save these, or I was saving these because they come in really handy when, you know, we actually left the house regularly to go to work in the before times. I would use these packets for Adam and I's sandwiches. So like instead of making the sandwich with mayo on it and having it get soggy, I would just pack the sandwich and then, you know, pack a little mayo packet and a little mustard packet. But now that we have been eating more at home, I still have a bunch of little packets of mayo, so I probably need to get those used up. And then some of this stuff like we're not going to use, like barbecue sauce, probably not. Adam really likes the hot mustard, which by the way, if you like the hot mustard from McDonald's, where's it at? They have this now at Walmart. It's hot Southwest hot mustard, and it tastes pretty close to the McDonald's hot mustard. So if you see this at Walmart and you like it with your nuggets, I would recommend it. And like these are like sherry wine, cooking wine. I think from like a Home Chef meal that I just broke apart and didn't make. And there's like some different oils in here, ponzu sauce. So I'm gonna try to get these organized and decide what I want to keep, what I want to throw out. I don't know if I got rid of a lot, but this seems much better. So these are just cups that we don't really use anymore. So I went ahead and just put all the mayo in here. So I think what I'm going to do is next time I use, you know, have a recipe or something that uses mayo, I'm just going to use up these packets instead of using it out of the jar so we can get them used up. And in here is hot sauce, which we actually do use these little packets of hot sauce. Like some of them are from Taco John's and some of them are from McDonald's, but like Adam uses them when he makes breakfast burritos, or I'll use them, you know, with quesadillas and stuff. I do actually have a recipe coming up this week that I'll use this sherry fake, I guess it's fake cooking wine, it's not real cooking wine for. And then I have some of the flavored oil packets in here that I'll have to use, and some ponzu sauce. And then I just went ahead and put all the mustard in here. So I have some Boji's mustard and some Chipotle mustard and regular yellow mustard. And then there's some sour cream packets, which we do actually use those. And then I have a couple packets of Greek dressing that we can use also. And then I keep these little iPads. This is not an iPad. What is it? Under eye. I guess they're under eye pads. Yeah. You can see they kind of go on your face right there. But they're really nice if you keep them in the fridge, because then when you put them on your face, they're really cool. So I'm gonna put this back in the fridge. This is the drawer underneath that we use. We use it for meat and cheese. I know that, you know, I'm sure people use it for different things, but that's what we have used it for. But it's super large and it's hard, even though I have a larger sink, it's hard to wash it in there. So I'm just gonna soak it with cleaner and then wipe it out with a hot rag, and then try to get this cheese back in here in some semblance of order. last but not least is my produce drawers. So I don't really think there's much in here that I need to get rid of. Most of this is still pretty fresh, but I kind of just need to go through and organize it. I like to keep like greens in one side and then like, you know, citrus fruits and like harder, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, harder fruits or something like that in the other. So I'm gonna finish this and then I'll show you guys the finished product. It looks beautiful. All right, so I'm done with the clean out and organization part. So that turned out so much better. I can never believe how much food fits in here until I get it all out onto the counter, and then once I reorganize everything, it just fits so much better. Now I will say, we don't have a lot of drinks in here right now because I haven't done my grocery shopping yet for this weekend, so this will fill back up a little bit tomorrow and I'll probably have to rearrange some things. I don't know if I'm going to keep this in here. This is actually like rotating, like Lazy Susan, you know, condiment stand. We had it back here in the back of the fridge, and it just never really got used. It was just kind of a dumping ground for condiments we didn't want to use. So I just went ahead and put the lemons and limes in it for now. I'll probably end up putting them back in the produce drawer, but I went through here and the only thing I really had to throw out was I had a bag of cut up veggies that we didn't get eaten, and they looked a little bit slimy, so I tossed those, and there were a couple jalapenos that had mold on them, so I threw those away. Here's the bottom drawer, so that looks much better. I ended up putting most of the dressings and like soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, the Miracle Whip, stuff like that right here, and then here's that section with all of the packets, and then mustard right here. And then I just kind of tried to line things up so that we could see them easily. These two containers, I actually got these at Aldi, and typically I would have them down here and have like applesauce and fruit and Capri Sun and stuff like that for the kids, but I don't have any of that stuff right now. I just have this big container of applesauce, and I don't have any Capri Suns either, so I figured for now I'd just fill these up with these little jars, and then I can rearrange them tomorrow if I need to. Usually this shelf is where we keep most of our like cans of drinks at. And then this shelf in here, this actually pulls out, which we typically don't have it pulled out because sometimes we have stuff in here that's too tall, like a, you know, like a pitcher of something. And so usually on this shelf back here we keep like our pickle relish. I have a cream cheese, we keep our margarine back there, and then I always keep my yeast in the fridge. And then down here is obviously where we keep like all our milk and larger drinks and things like that. I have 2 containers of whipped cream. I need to use up one of those. I have a big container of Greek yogurt back there. This Parmesan cheese is new. We haven't gotten into that yet. I just have a few containers of yogurt. This is some sesame dressing that I made earlier in the week, and then there's some miscellaneous things back here. There's some pita bread and some tortillas and some different cooked meats that I need to use up. I actually got rid of some of this stuff that was down here. This is just fish sauce and liquid smoke, and then this is where I usually keep my butter at. I did throw out 1 jar of strawberry jelly that was almost down to the bottom, and I couldn't remember when I opened it, so I just kept this one from Thrive. These are a couple cherry jams that haven't been opened yet. And then usually we keep barbecue sauce, and then usually up here is where we keep mostly hot sauce, and then I always keep the jelly up here for some reason. Connor always likes grape jelly with his toast and sandwiches, but this is where we keep like our Frank's Red Hot and salsa and jalapeno and Tabasco. So that is how it turned out, and it is beautiful. All right, good Sunday morning. It is about 8:30 and I'm making breakfast. So when I cleaned out the fridge yesterday, I found a leftover steak in there that we had from grilling earlier in the week. So I cut that up and I put that in a skillet with some hash browns and some egg and a little bit of jalapeno, and I'm going to put some shredded cheese on this. And so I just basically made like a scramble of all of the leftovers that I found in the fridge. Alright, so this doesn't look the prettiest, but I'm sure it's good. And I have some fruit on the side. I probably would make toast, but we're out of bread. I need to go to the grocery store today. Alright, so the first meal, I guess the second if you count the breakfast I just made, that I'm going to make out of what was in my fridge is I'm going to prep what we're going to have for dinner tonight. So I decided we would have barbecue chicken flatbreads with coleslaw and some fruit salad. So I decided to do the coleslaw tonight because the date on the coleslaw is actually today. So I'm gonna make that, and I'm gonna use a little bit of this red onion that I found, and then hopefully I can get some of these mayo packets used up. I'll be using some of this flatbread, and then this is some chicken breast that I had cooked in the refrigerator that we had left over from earlier this week. So I just cut that up into really small cubes. When you're putting it on top of a pizza or flatbread, the smaller you can cut it, the better. And then I also had a leftover package of bacon. There was about 5 slices left in here, and so I'm gonna cook that up and cut it up, and that will be I'll just cut that up and put it on the flatbread with like the chicken and the barbecue sauce too. So this is the recipe that I always use for coleslaw. It's the KFC copycat recipe, so I'll link this down below, but I've been using it for years and years and years. If you've ever wondered how many mayo packets it takes to make half a cup, it's this many. All right, so meal one is done and prepped. Here is the coleslaw, so that will just sit in the fridge until dinner. If you do make it, you want to let it sit in the fridge for probably a couple hours before you eat it, so the cabbage can kind of soften up a little bit. And then here is the chicken I cut up along with the leftover bacon I cooked, so that will go with these flatbreads. And this is the barbecue sauce that I'm going to use. I have some mozzarella cheese here and some mozzarella cheese here, and then I need to go to the grocery store today and get fruit, but that will be the first meal. So barbecue chicken flatbread and coleslaw and fruit salad. Okay, next thing I'm going to work on is some breakfast burritos. So I have these whole wheat tortillas from Aldi. These are really good for breakfast burritos, and then I also have this chicken sausage that I got at Aldi as well, that I meant to make these actually a couple weeks ago, and I never got around to it. So I just wiped out the skillet that I used to cook the bacon in, and I have a little bit of avocado oil in there. So I'm gonna cut up the sausage, cook that up with some eggs, and wrap it in tortillas with some cheese. Okay, so here is the filling for the burritos. I put some cheese in there. I had some cotija cheese in the fridge that I needed to use up, so I used that up in here. And then just so it was a little bit spicy, I put in some chopped up jalapenos, the pickled jalapenos I had in the fridge. So this I'm just going to let cool a little bit before I wrap it into the shells. Alright, so here's the breakfast burritos. I ended up with 6. So I like to wrap these in wax paper. That way you can heat them up in the microwave. Some people wrap them in foil, but I don't like doing that because obviously you can't put foil in the microwave. So I'll put these in the fridge. Adam will probably eat them for breakfast this week. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to prep and work on is some zucchini bread. So I was trying to figure out a way to use these. I ended up somehow with 3 zucchinis in the fridge, and this one actually looks the best. So I think I'm going to save this for tomorrow's dinner and grill that on the side with our dinner. But these two are looking a little bit like they could use some help. So what I'm going to do is make some zucchini bread. This is a recipe that Adam's mom gave me. I actually have a whole separate recipe video on this that I made last summer, so I'll link that down below, and I'll type out this recipe in the description box. But this is pretty fail-safe. It's really good. It makes 2 loaves of zucchini bread, so I'll probably share one maybe with Adam's parents. The only substitute I make is sometimes I don't put the nuts in it. Sometimes I do. Sometimes my kids complain. Shocking, right? And then it calls for half a cup of oil and half a cup of melted butter. Usually I substitute applesauce for the oil, and then I use the melted butter just to cut down on the calories. And then also a lot of times I will substitute some sugar substitute for half of the sugar. So like it calls for 2 cups of sugar, I might use 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of like low carb sweetener. Okay, so here's all the wet ingredients for the zucchini bread. I also put nuts in there. This recipe makes 2 loaves, so I'm gonna give one to Adam's parents, and I texted them and they like nuts in it. So I went ahead and added some walnuts, and then I did substitute 1 of the cups of sugar for this monk fruit sweetener just to cut down on the calories. And then instead of oil, like I said, I used applesauce. Alright, so here's my 2 loaves of zucchini bread. Whoops, sorry. These are very neat loaf pans. I ordered them on Amazon. I got the idea from my friend Christine over at Frugal Fit Mom. They cook a lot quicker because they're kind of narrow, long, narrow baking pans. So I'll link these down below. They're very inexpensive. I think the pair of them is like $11.99 on Amazon or something like that. But I'm going to get these into the oven. The normal size loaves bake at 350 for 1 hour to 1 hour and 10 minutes, but I don't think these are gonna take that long just because they're skinnier. So I'm probably gonna put them in for, I don't know, maybe 45 to start, and then I'll check them. And then you guys saw I put the parchment paper sling on the bottom. That way they're super easy to lift out when they're done. Okay, so the next thing that I'm work on for meal prepping is tomorrow's dinner, which is some chicken kebabs. So I have some chicken breast right here, and what I'm going to do in the bottom of this 9x13 pan is just kind of make a marinade for this. So I don't really have a recipe for this, it's just kind of ingredients to taste. So I have some avocado oil. I'm going to use the zest of 1 lemon and the juice of 1 lemon. If I feel like I need more lemon juice, I might use another lemon juice. And then I have some parsley and some thyme for fresh herbs. If you don't have fresh herbs, just use dried. And then I have some garlic I'm going to crush in there. If you don't have fresh garlic, use garlic powder, and then salt and pepper. And then, so normally I'll just make the marinade in the bottom of this pan, and then I'll cube the chicken up, put it in there, put it on some skewers, and then that can sit, that'll have, you know, 24 hours to sit until we eat tomorrow. Okay, so I decided I'm gonna cut up some veggies too, because I want to do both chicken and vegetable kebabs with this marinade. Hopefully I have enough. So I have some peppers. I'm just gonna cut these into like squares. There's a part that I need to cut out. And then I'm also going to cut up a zucchini and some red onion. I'm trying to think of how I want to cut the zucchini. I'll probably just cut it like that, and then I can skewer it that way. And then this. There we go. Okay. so here are the chicken kebabs. So I wish you guys could smell this because it smells super delicious, really garlicky and herby and lemony. And then I was gonna put marinade on these two, but they don't really quite lay flat in the bottom of the dish, so that didn't work out. So I just drizzled them with olive oil, salt, and pepper. And I'm gonna get these in the fridge in the garage, and we'll have dinner practically ready tomorrow. Okay, so I'm almost done prepping food out of the fridge, and this wasn't really out of the fridge, but it's gonna go with the chicken kebabs that we're gonna have tomorrow. So I'm making hummus, and I know I've made this before on my channel, so I will copy and paste the recipe down below, but I use the recipe from Cook's Country magazine. So in here in my food processor, I have 1 can of chickpeas, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 clove of garlic, salt, cumin, and a pinch of cayenne. And so I'm just going to get this processed, and then while it's running, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of water and a 1/4 cup of tahini. I love this tahini from Thrive Market because it's in this pouch and you can like knead it. Oh my god, so awesome. I always have a link in my description box for Thrive if you want to save, I think it's 25% on your first order, but I am keeping this in stock from now on because I love it so much. Okay, so here is the hummus. I love this recipe for hummus. It's so good. If you make it, just make sure that you process it a long time until it gets really smooth and fluffy, and it will taste better tomorrow as it sits. But I could eat this whole thing with like cucumber or pita. Oh my god, it's so good. Okay, so that's that. And then I also had some broccoli in the fridge. I went ahead and steamed up because one night this week I'm gonna make steak and baked potatoes and broccoli, and I was nervous that this broccoli would go south before I got the chance to cook it, so I figured I'd just cook it, and then on the night we have baked potatoes, I'll just warm it up and put it on the baked potatoes with some cheese. So I think I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna check my list and then we'll see how much we accomplished. All right, so I want to show you guys how the barbecue chicken pizza turned out, or flatbread actually. It looks really good. And the coleslaw and the fruit salad. Okay, I forgot one more thing I want to accomplish for this prep. So I have these spinach wraps, and Kira really likes these for lunch during the week, and she actually asked me to get some like Lunchable type wraps at the store today, and I figured I have all this stuff so I can just make them at home, prep them, and then she can have them for lunch throughout the week. So this is an idea if you guys have kids or even for yourself. You can customize them. She doesn't like any kind of like dressing or mayo or mustard on hers, so it's perfect. They won't get soggy. So what I'm gonna do is just probably use these spinach tortillas. These are her favorite, with turkey and pepperoni and some cheddar cheese, and then just cut them into pinwheels. All right, so here are my little turkey and pepperoni and cheddar cheese wraps. So these will keep in the fridge for several days, I'm sure. Akira will be excited that I made those up for her, and then she can just have them for lunches this week. All right, so here is the finished product after I went grocery shopping today. So I did have to rearrange some things because I got a lot of drinks, and I put the kids' juice pouches here and their applesauce, and then I got some bagels just laying on top of there and some more drinks. But here are some of the wraps that I made. Broccoli. I did make some fruit salad today with the fruit I got at the grocery store, and hummus, and we still have some coleslaw left. There are breakfast burritos back there for the week. This was all the produce that I got washed up for today, and so these all have a plan for this week, so that's good. And this drawer opens much easier now, so I assume in a couple more weeks they'll get caked up with ice and I'll probably have to take it out again. But anyway, it's much better now and it's all clean. Hi, Murphy. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over real quick everything that I prepped. So I did the coleslaw. I crossed that off just because I put it on my meal plan for this week, but that's not something that you can really make ahead, the caprese salad, because otherwise it will get way too mushy. But I made the breakfast burritos, Greek salad. I think I'm just going to do kind of something like that tomorrow night with dinner, so I crossed that off. The balsamic blue cheese salad, I did not prep that or anything, but I still have the ingredients for it. And then I didn't make those rice noodles and chicken. I don't know, I might make those for lunch tomorrow. I made the wraps and the zucchini bread, which I think I mentioned that I took a loaf over to Adam's parents, and then this is the loaf that we had left. And so the rest of the meal plan this week was all then based off of stuff that I had in the fridge and the pantry and the freezer. So I think that is a success. All right, so that is going to wrap it up for this fridge clean out and meal prep and meal plan video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that it gave you some inspiration to clean out your own refrigerator and take stock of what you have and meal plan for the week, and maybe prep some things so that none of your food goes to waste. Let me know if you like this video and you'd like me to do more. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.